Blake Lively might have just done herself in this battle with Justin Baldoni, although she didn't do it intentionally. It was something she said
long before she ever worked with Justin Baldoni.
Right, but there's something she said that has now been resurfaced, and it is right on the nose as far as what the issues are in her battle with Justin Baldoni.
Who's really winning this war between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni? The powerful smear machine is still going. But what's really crazy is this new person she hired. We got a lot to discuss.
Well. Looks like Blake Lively's lawyer dropped her like a hot potato right after Justin Baldoni's team unleashed a fresh batch of jaw-dropping receipts they definitely weren't expecting. Allegedly, the moment Blake's lawyer caught wind of the evidence Justin's side was about to release, she bolted, faster than Blake could say it ends with us. And honestly, no attorney wants their reputation tied to a case built on smoke, mirrors, and wishful thinking.
You're going to sue Blake Lively too?
Into oblivion, Megan. Wait till you see this lawsuit. It's all going to be based on evidence. It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did and how she bullied her way through the process to take over the movie.
And it gets worse. Blake allegedly didn't just mislead the media or twist facts in her lawsuit. She may have also left her own lawyer in the dark about key details. That reportedly put the attorney under pressure from every direction. But wait, there's more. Blake allegedly questioned her lawyer's skills, threw insults around, and even came up with different excuses to avoid paying her. Imagine treating the one person meant to defend you in court like that. Make it make sense. At this point, this case is shaping up to be more dramatic than a poorly written soap opera. So let's dive in. After Blake filed her lawsuit against Justin and had major outlets like the New York Times seemingly backing her narrative, she probably thought the victory lap had already begun. Her lawyer likely felt confident too, at first, but then Justin's team dropped a mountain of receipts, systematically challenging every allegation. As the public began questioning Blake and her husband Ryan Reynolds, media support cooled off fast. The praise turned into skepticism almost overnight, and behind the scenes, it's reportedly even messier. Sources claim her lawyer walked away after realizing the case was riddled with holes that wouldn't survive a courtroom battle. But what really raised eyebrows was the alleged treatment Blake gave her attorney while she was working tirelessly on the case. And trust me, the twists in this saga are far from...
A couple days ago, William Morris's CEO, Ari Emanuel, made it seem like a moral act of loyalty, like that exists in Hollywood. He heaped praise on Ryan and Blake as soulfully beautiful people, flawless, really. He mocked Baldoni in the process. He said, it's an effed up bad situation with what Baldoni, whatever his name is doing. Now, he said Lively and Reynolds are good people. They've been in the business for decades and have never had any bad press about them, and all the people that work with them like them. Okay, he must not have the internet.
By now, y'all already know Blake has a reputation for being Hollywood's ultimate mean girl. For some reason, almost everyone she's worked with seems to have a strange or straight-up bad story about her. Resurfaced interviews don't help either. In clip after clip, she's throwing out snarky comments or casually saying things that come off flat-out rude. At this point, her career feels like a museum of burned bridges. When those old mean Blake moments first started circulating again, her team tried to smooth it over. The excuse? She's just misunderstood. Oh, Blake has a unique sense of humor. Oh, she's actually shy. Oh, she says edgy things that are meant to be funny, but people misread them. But that explanation only stretches so far. Eventually, the pattern became hard to ignore. Blake isn't some misunderstood ingenue. She's a grown woman. And if we're being honest, the issue doesn't look like shyness. It looks like a lack of self-awareness and emotional intelligence. And here's the thing about that kind of energy. You can't mask it forever. Sooner or later, it shows itself. And once people start connecting the dots, the image begins to crack.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
They are kind of bumps, aren't they?
No, not bumps. The lovely lady lumps. Check it out.
Thank you. Thank you. You like the movie? Are you a Woody Allen fan?
I love most of his movies, and this one was so, visually amazing.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Did you guys love wearing those kind of clothes that you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, working in digital...
Everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
Take this interview, for example. Blake was asked how she would want fans to approach her if they related to Lily's experiences in the film, especially those dealing with serious topics like abuse. A sensitive question, right? Instead of responding thoughtfully, she reportedly turned it into a joke about location sharing and slipped into sarcasm. For a moment that called for empathy, the tone just didn't land.
Blake, I'm going to start with you. Most of us, if we're lucky enough to run into a celebrity in public, we only have a few moments to maybe speak with you guys. But for people who see this movie, who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're really going to want to talk to you. This movie is going to affect people, and they're going to want to tell you about their life. So if someone understands the themes of this movie, comes across you in public, and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it?
Like asking for like my address or my phone number or like my location share. Or I could just location share you, and then we could, I'm just curious about
social security number.
I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, are we talking logistics? Are we talking emotional?
And it wasn't just the audience who noticed. Her co-star visibly rolled his eyes and looked completely uncomfortable after that comment. You could practically feel the tension through the screen. But then again, what do you expect from someone who once publicly referred to co-stars as monkeys and joked about Leighton Meester's upbringing? Yes, during the Gossip Girl press tour, Blake openly referenced Leighton's background, turning it into the punchline of awkward, poorly delivered jokes. Moments like that don't just disappear, they linger. And when you line them all up, a pattern starts to form.
There was an article recently saying that Leighton and I were frenemies. And it's
frenemies. Is that the new term, frenemies?
Yeah, we're friends, but we're also enemies. And it's really strange because they always want to pit women against each other. You don't hear about like Penn and Chase hating each other and being jealous and competitive.
I think I'm just brunette because of the books.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway. A moment by me.
Remember Savannah.
It was another promise was no pet monkey. Yeah. Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them. Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Your wardrobe? That is important. Very good.
Very important.
This is wardrobe.
This is wardrobe. This was on the return rack. I think it was hers. So I had to go and like slip them cash to wear it today.
It's not like Leighton's born in prison story was some hidden secret. She had spoken about it openly before, but that still didn't explain why Blake felt entitled to turn it into a joke. And apparently that tension wasn't a one-time thing. Reports claim Blake had been icy toward Leighton throughout their time on set. Insiders described serious friction between the two, so intense that other cast members allegedly felt pressured to choose sides. On screen, they were inseparable best friends. Off-screen, that bond didn't seem to exist at all. Some blamed personality differences. Blake the outgoing social butterfly, Leighton the quieter introvert. But if you watch their press interviews closely, it felt deeper than that. The smiles looked rehearsed, the energy felt strained, and that so-called mean girl pattern didn't stop there. During the production and press tour for It Ends With Us, Blake allegedly tried to rally cast members to her side whenever conflict popped up. Sources claim she pushed to influence creative decisions, even attempting to steer parts of the script. There are whispers she wanted more control behind the scenes, even eyeing Justin's director role, and allegedly pressured him into allowing changes, sometimes without his full awareness. Then came the lawsuit. And almost immediately, critics spotted red flags. One of the biggest, the media rollout. Within hours of Blake filing her complaint, the New York Times published a headline-grabbing piece titled, "We Can Bury Anyone Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." The timing raised eyebrows. How did such a detailed article, complete with analysis and framing, appear less than a day after the filing? People began questioning whether groundwork had been laid long before the public ever saw the lawsuit. The optics alone fueled speculation.
Justin Baldoni has spoken out against the New York Times in newly obtained court documents. And I read what happened, so you don't have to. Baldoni has stated that a jury must decide if the New York Times is responsible for its involvement with this ongoing legal battle against Blake Lively. In court documents filed on Friday, March 14th, Justin Baldoni has stated that the New York Times has long presumed itself beyond accountability, not here, and that the New York Times went past merely reporting. He then went on that the New York Times actively vouched for the veracity of its false narrative by publishing Blake Lively's complaint in full, and that the fair report privilege that the New York Times seeks to hide behind does not protect it from liability for maliciously colluding with Lively and her cohort to publish a false and defamatory hit piece about the Wayfarer parties, wrongly casting them as villains and making them scapegoats for Lively's well-publicized media missteps. The New York Times responded in a statement to us, stating that the flaws in the Wayfarer Baldoni case were made clear last week in their own legal filing when they asked the court for yet another opportunity to amend their complaint to try and make it legally sufficient.
For many readers, the article didn't sit right. From the opening paragraphs, it reportedly felt slanted against Justin. If you didn't know better, You'd assume the case had already been argued in court and a verdict delivered. But here's the thing. The lawsuit had been filed only hours earlier. That's not just fast reporting. Critics called it ethically questionable. Some argued it mirrored the very smear machine the piece accused Justin of running. Even more concerning, Justin. His business partner Steve Sarowitz and Wayfarer Studios allegedly weren't given adequate time to respond before publication. That kind of rush can shape public opinion before the other side even speaks. And public opinion matters. Not long after, Justin responded with a massive $400 million lawsuit against the New York Times, Blake and Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of publishing what he described as a fabricated narrative. If you think that article didn't have impact, think again. Because when a story drops before most people even know a lawsuit exists, it frames everything that follows. It's like announcing someone's guilt through a megaphone before they ever enter a courtroom. After that, every defense sounds like an excuse. Meanwhile, critics also pointed to inconsistencies in Blake's filing. Why were portions of text messages redacted? Why were certain timestamps and details blurred out? The presentation left some observers feeling like they were only seeing the side that supported her version of events.
Let me ask you, what are the dates of these HR complaints? Do you know the dates?
There's no dates. The dates are redacted. The names of the complainants are redacted, except for on one of them, there's an M. And in Blake's original, when she went to Sony, and by the way, they're not to Wayfarer Studios, Justin's company, they're to Sony, the distributor, to their HR department, and there's an M in there, which means at least one of the other ones came around the same time, if it's May, unless it was March, but probably May, same time as Blake.
And then came the counterpunch. Justin reportedly released behind-the-scenes footage and unfiltered text exchanges. And suddenly, the narrative started shifting. Piece by piece, Blake's claims appeared to unravel under scrutiny. Now, insiders say her team is scrambling to get Justin and his attorneys into a room to explore settlement talks. After months of public fallout, the strategy may be damage control. Because when a legal battle starts looking unwinnable, retreat becomes an option. If you were forced to confront the possibility that your client overstated claims or misrepresented facts from the beginning, wouldn't you consider stepping back? Wouldn't you try to end it quietly before more receipts hit the internet? And just like that, the story keeps twisting.
I looked through every document, every email, every text message, listened to stories, listened to the history of what he's been through, listened to voice notes, and really try to evaluate, the strength of the defense of the case. And frankly, in this case, the strength of his claims. And like a lawyer is obligated to do, really want to make sure that I go through, as much as possible to really understand what exactly happened, or at least what it seems like happened.
But here's the real twist. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, isn't even entertaining the idea of a settlement. It's not maybe. It's not let's think about it. It's completely off the table. And here's why. During a recent appearance on the Town podcast with Matthew Baldoni, Friedman broke it down in detail. According to him, the accusations haven't just sparked headlines, they've taken a serious toll on Justin's reputation, finances, mental health, emotional well-being, and even his wife and children. He made it clear this isn't some Hollywood circus you wrap up with a check and a handshake. The damage, in his view, runs too deep. Too much is already at stake. Friedman even posed the question out loud, what dollar amount could possibly undo what's already been done? Can you really put a price tag on reputational harm, family stress, and a career clouded by allegations? From their perspective, the only path forward is court. Justin wants a jury to hear both sides, not headlines, not curated articles, and decide who's telling the truth and who may have leveraged influence to shape a narrative. At this point, it might be more shocking if Blake's legal team sticks it out. Even Ryan Reynolds appears to be distancing himself, reportedly asking to be removed from the lawsuits altogether, essentially signaling, this isn't my battle. And when allies start stepping back, that says a lot.
Brian Friedman rips into Ryan Reynolds and his motion to dismiss. I was waiting for Brian Friedman's response to Ryan Reynolds now wanting out of the lawsuit, and we finally got it. Friedman told TMZ Mr. Reynolds' exploitation of his enormous power in Hollywood continues, this time arrogantly asking to be dismissed from the case despite his publicly documented involvement extending far beyond just being a supportive spouse. Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible. He goes on to say his fingerprints have been all over the smear campaign against Justin and the Wayfarer team since day one. Mr. Reynolds now attempts to reduce plainly cognizable claims to hurt feelings, sending a clear message that bullying is acceptable. After lighting a match, Mr. Reynolds now seeks to run from the flames. It won't work. The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real and they are serious. Mr. Reynolds can appear on as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make a light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his actions. I love that Brian Friedman is not afraid to speak his mind, speak the truth, and I love how much he defends Justin Baldoni. Obviously, I know he's Justin's lawyer. He's getting paid probably really good money, but he really goes and fights for Justin. And I agree with every single word that he said.
So now the question is, what happens next? Will Blake find another attorney willing to take on this increasingly complicated case? Or are we watching the final chapter of her legal showdown with Justin unfold in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out the next video.